In this video, I'll be bringing you guys along my race weekend here at Kart Moto. First, I want to address the mic issues. My usual mic has officially said sayonara and no longer works. So that just means we're working with what we got. Okay, back to it. Starting all the way from the beginning. We take the trailer from our home track all the way to Cresson, Texas, which is where the Kart Moto track is, which is about a 70-mile drive. So about an hour and a half with traffic. I'll see you guys there.
I have a segment in here written down, but I didn't get time to do it yesterday, so I'm going to act like it's yesterday right now, but it's really qualifying day. But you're going to say that it's practice day today, okay? Deal. We just arrived at the track to set up for tomorrow's activities. The way the weekend is planned out is today is setting up, as you can see, and tomorrow will include a warm-up, 2 practices, 1 qualifying, and the first heat of this. And tomorrow will include all of 1 warm-up, 2 practices, 1 qualifying, and the first heat of this weekend, giving us a chance to allow us to set up the kart properly to give us a good position in qualifying. But today won't bring very much footage probably because we're just setting up today, and also I have an event that I have to go film for a friend later. So actually I'll play some of those clips if I can, if they are okay with that.
Why you saying this love at first like, I can't even see it. Right now, equality. It ain't for me. Alright, yo. Yeah, I've been in the studio. I've been cooking up just like I've been making food. I've been say some food. Yeah, I pay for you, loot out my pockets. It's all like my but I like it. Like, oh, how you feel? How y'all feel? Yeah! I said, how y'all feel? Come on now. Hey, Tangerine is performing later today. What time do you perform? 7:55, bro. Inside. If you're not there, you're square. On my mama. Your embraces, I found peace where I was overwhelmed. Take a look inside of you. So you don't lose the love that overflows.
So day 2, also known as qualifying day or day 1 for the Texas Karting League actual event. What we'll be doing in this day is completely focusing on strategy and setup for our kart, just so we can try and get as best of a result as we physically can for qualifying.
Well, we went by ourselves either because nobody else was ready or because our aura was too friggin' strong.
Yeah, man, you were so fast. You were just driving circles around everybody.
But I set a lap time of 57.6, which isn't horrible considering I was by myself for 1, and for 2, we found out that my axle was bent due to what I presume to be shenanigans from last race. But that's what we're working with now. That was only warm-up and it's still only practice, so we're gonna see if we can get away with just not changing the axle right now.
So we got a couple of good highlights here with us being separated initially in the pack and slowly reeling them in as we see here. But this clip also, I remember just looking left right here and then looking straight again saying, oh crap, and barreling through a sign. Yeah, I don't really know what happened either. I guess my body turned left and my arms turned left with it because I didn't, yeah. Anyway, getting back on track, I'm just asking myself what in the crap just happened because everything is going so fast at the moment. But I guess it's okay because by the end of it, we got P2. Also, I got my new microphone. We set a 57 flat this practice session with P1 getting a 56.4. So we've got some changes to make, but let's see how those changes affect us next practice session. I'll activate the rear view for this one as we're seen being tested by the 613, who will be a big competitor for us. Also the same person who got first place in last session. As it's practice, I practice holding my line and seeing how she fares through this sector against me on this setup to get data for the future sessions. This forces her to back off through the back end of the track. About 4 minutes later in the session, she finally catches back up to me and we start bump drafting a little bit around the track. Going uphill to the line, I see her go for a pass and I let her by so I can start getting a feel for how to draft on this track. But some laps later, after letting her by, she did take off from me, which tells us that we needed to make a few changes to the kart on top of something else that I'll explain here in a few seconds. So now the scales are off. So that's fun. We came in last session at 361 with the class minimum being 360. We added a pound of fuel after because we're compensating for the next session, and we somehow lost 5 pounds according to the scale, and that lands us at 357, which also means that if it was for points or if that session actually mattered in any way stance-wise, we would have been DQ'd. But that means we're gonna have to pull weight out of somewhere and slap it on the cart just so we can make the minimum. Because if we don't, then we're just gonna get DQ'd every time we try and go out. Alright, that's all for next session though, because we have driver's meeting now. I'll show some highlights here if we have any. If it's just basic stuff, then I'll skip across it.
I'm not getting paid this time? Oh, damn. So, few new things. We are going to be implementing the CIK starting lights this weekend. It'll be 4 lights, full red, like that. Pole sitter. All my pole sitters this weekend, please do not accelerate until you reach the acceleration zone. Once you are in the acceleration zone, between those first 2 cones and these last 2 cones, I will be turning the lights off. Like in the old fashioned, like we like to say, lights out and away we go. You guys can start moving and we're going racing. Everybody understand that? I have this nice fancy board right there, right behind Mr. Andrews, our tech director. That is going to be showing you the checkered flag, 2 to go, stuff like that, time left in the session. Again, I will be on the opposite side of the track waving the flag so you guys don't get too confused out there. I know it can be a little hard to see, especially with some glare. But if you're out there and you're confused and you're like, man, I've been out here way too long, just look up at that board as you're coming down the street and you'll understand what's going on. Again, thank you guys all for being here. John's putting on a great show for us, and I can't thank him enough for having me out here. I love Texas. I think this is the last time I'm going to go out here this year, and I'm pretty sad about it. So, thanks for doing some job, guys.
And right after driver's meeting, there the horn blows, putting us into action for this qualifying session. Now this will be split up into highlights as I'm trying to save time here, trying to make you guys not sit through a super duper long video. But for the heat session, I will try and push through more of it and actually narrate most of it. Now this qualifying session has no lineup to it, which means that this is the times that we're setting right now. So that means if we have to get by someone, we have to do it as soon as possible. Now we are sticking with the main pack here for the most part, but the kart is kind of feeling a little bit heavy in the turns. As we see here, we kind of drop back, but I do think that is because of the line that I took. I catch right back up to them. I believe that is because of the tow that we have with them. But I honestly think, looking back on this footage, that we are kind of being held up by some of the people in the front here, getting pushed back a little bit more than we should normally, and not really getting the opportunity to get our top speed through all the turns because of some of these people. Oh, and he drops a tire, gets pushed wide, grass all over the track. They try to take advantage of that, but he gets back in, rejoins it just in time. I get thrown back because I hit the bumper of the person ahead of me, and I'm just trying to catch up as fast as possible, trying to just gain as much top speed as physically possible. And as you're seeing here, they're getting pushed back again because of that being held up. I'm able to catch right back up to them, get right back in that tow. Now skipping ahead here quite a bit, we are getting thrown back quite a bit. Later on you'll hear me say something about the scales and also the kart feeling heavy, and it did feel heavy at this point in time, but I don't think that was really the core culprit for the reason why we're being thrown back here. Now we are used to the smaller tracks, with our home track being only a half mile. This track is 0.76 miles long, meaning that all of the laps Sure, there may be the same number of laps or same number of minutes, but the track is so much longer that it degrades your tires so much more. Also, with it being the whole different environment, a whole different material, we didn't take that into account and put the tire pressure a little bit too high from what I'm looking at here, and that is costing us a lot of time, not letting us get our full potential whenever we have clean air. Skipping ahead some more here, you see that we're dropping quite a bit more back, just gradually as the time goes on. It's just oncoming and constant throughout the entirety of this race. So you guys can kind of see how this goes. We've already set our peak time. I believe we did actually have a purple lap, but that was taken away obviously later on in the session because of what I presume is the tire pressure. Is the tires got too hot and now they don't have enough contact on the ground to actually let you take the corners efficiently. They're just bubbled up at this point in the race. And that costs a lot whenever it is qualifying and we're not battling for positions, we're just battling for time. And as you can see, one of the people that did start in the very front of the pack, they just let me pass because of what I assume they're suffering the same fate, if not a worse one, if it ends up being engine failure or something of the sorts that made them severely lose that pace that they once had at the front. But now the checkered flag comes out, signaling that it is the end of our session and telling us to come into the pits to see the official times that we have set. But for you guys, it is time to see the footage of me right after it and my first reactions without taking in all of the data just yet. So it's me essentially talking about how the scales are off. While that was an issue, that wasn't my core issue with what my pace was.
What the crap was that? I mean, at the very end there, in scales, the scales jumped up to 367, then back down to 358, then to 360, and then they just called it 360. So now, I know the kart's way heavy, because I can feel it through the corners. It's just, it feels heavy everywhere. I don't get any roll speed because of that, so then the front people that I was with are just leaving me, because the kart's way heavy right now. So, scales are off, I can say that. But that's my explanation right now. Cut to me in my room probably doing my other POV.
So we threw qualifying. However, that doesn't mean everything is over just yet. The last thing for today is the first heat of the event. So from here on out, we're no longer fighting for times, and now we're fighting for position. So with the pace that we have now, I'm fairly certain that we can get ourselves back into the fight. Here we are at the end of the formation lap for the first of these two heats. The second one is tomorrow, so we won't have to worry about that for a little while. But we're starting this one in P4, putting us off of that podium position for now, but with the new knowledge from last session, I believe we can regain that title. Here we have the rear camera enabled in the bottom right corner of the screen. That lets you guys see any of the full entirety of lap 1 chaos that might happen. And here we are in the acceleration zone now. We are off and away we go. Green flag. We are trying to dip down as fast as possible, try and get our line as correct as possible, actually I should say, and get us into a proper position here. He pushes me wide a little bit. I'm like, what in the world just happened here? So I decide to try my best to catch up to them all, try and take him back over, and get my spot that I rightfully own in my head. And I'm manifesting this in every way possible. So I do start catching up to him a little bit, lose a little bit of grip there, fall back. But we still have that same determination to try and get up to him and overtake him as fast as possible before they get away, because once the front pack is gone with that toe, they're gone. That's it. I go for the inside attack here. I take my line cleanly and I execute it. Now, what I think of partially the reason why it's so easy to make those turns there is because during the same event they're running Rotax class with, I believe, their Mojo tires, as you can see on the left right now, and those tires put down a lot of rubber in those corners, meaning that for all the other classes that gives them a slightly more advantage, if that makes sense. It gives them a little bit more grip in all of the turns that they wouldn't have otherwise, so you're able to do more things. But now that we've gotten that third place position so far, we've left the mid pack there and we are actually maintaining with the front pack even though they are towing with each other. Now really all we can do at this point is maintain our position by pushing as hard as we can to try and maintain our spacing with them and hoping that they make a mistake without injuring themselves, of course. We don't want that to ever happen, but make a mistake racing wise so that we can attack that and that we can try and overtake that next spot. Now, skipping ahead a little bit more, inside the corners, I'm spotting a little bit of a pattern here where P2 is backing off of P1 quite a bit going into every turn, meaning that I'm able to get a little bit closer every time that they go into a turn. So that gives me the opportunity. As you can see here, he's starting to get a little bit close. I'm trying to cut the track off as much as possible, make it to where the track is as short as possible for me, and maximizing my top speed everywhere as much as I can. But skipping ahead some more, they continue to pull further and further and further away, learning from those mistakes and getting better at working together throughout this race, to where I'm kind of left alone until right here, where it was just off camera, but he actually ran through the dirt that I just passed on the rumble strips there, meaning that he is way farther back from P1 than he was before, and that means that I'm also closer to him. And I start to notice as this progresses, not only that it's 2 to go, but also that I'm starting to slowly gain on him in some spots. But with it being the 206 class, we don't have enough horsepower nor acceleration to really take advantage of these things in such a short amount of time. So, as it is only 1 lap to go at this point, we did end up finishing in 3rd place, which did get us to our podium spot, but we want more. It is only the first heat out of 2, on top of the fact that we have a final after both of these. And hopefully you guys don't get too used to my voice, because there will also be a mix of an announcer's voice that was narrating during the event tomorrow, and I'll be trying to mix in some recorded sections of that as well. 3rd place. That's where we stand today. And that's also where we're going to be starting for tomorrow's first heat. Tomorrow consists of the 2nd heat that gives us another chance to build more positions, and the final. With the way that this is going right now, we have a very good chance of getting our 2nd career podium within our 1st year of racing, so I'm excited to see it. But you guys will have to wait a little bit. Although it would have been nice to throw everything in one video, it would have made it really long and everyone would have just left anyway, so I decided to not put everything in one video. So I'm going to do the YouTuber retention thing and say like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check out the Instagram for whenever I post on my stories that I uploaded. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching and supporting what I like to do, even at the times that I don't upload as much. And again, if you guys would like to support me more, please subscribe and share it with people that might be interested in racing also, so they can also get a taste of the racing world. But that's enough ranting. I'll see you guys on race day.